Sometimes the loudest truths are hidden behind silence. Sometimes one person's courage can change the fate of many lives. And sometimes, even the smallest, most underestimated soul can stand against the greatest storm. In the heart of the bustling city, there was a man everyone knew. His name was Mr. Raymond Carter, a billionaire known for his towering glass buildings, luxury cars, and power that stretched across industries. To the world, he seemed untouchable, invincible even. But behind the walls of his mansion, he lived a life of loneliness, bound by distrust and betrayal. The story begins not with him, but with a maid named Elena. She was a simple woman in her late 20s, fragile in appearance yet strong in spirit. She had been working in Raymond's mansion for only 3 months, but she carried herself with dignity and humility. Every day she arrived early, worked tirelessly, and went home late to her tiny rented room where her sick mother waited. She was poor, but she was rich in values. What no one knew was that Elena's husband, Daniel, had become restless and bitter. Once a loving man, he had fallen into the grip of greed. He resented Elena for working as a maid, claiming she had lowered herself and him. He wanted more, money, power, and a shortcut to wealth. And when he discovered where Elena worked, his eyes lit up with dark intentions. Elena sensed his change, but she was too consumed by her mother's medicines and the burden of survival to confront it. She only prayed that the man she once loved would not lose himself entirely. But fate had other plans. One rainy evening, when Raymond was away at a business meeting, Elena stayed back at the mansion to finish cleaning. She hummed softly while polishing the grand staircase when she heard a faint creak near the study. Curiosity tugged at her, but what she found made her blood run cold. There, in the dim light of the study, was her husband Daniel. He had broken into the mansion. His eyes were wild, his hands trembling as he searched through Raymond's files and safe drawers. And then she heard him whisper, "This is it, one move, and I'll have everything." Elena froze. She realized instantly what he was after, not just money, but secrets that could destroy her boss. If exposed, Raymond's empire could collapse overnight. She wanted to scream, but fear gripped her throat. She whispered instead, "Daniel, stop, please." But he turned on her with eyes she no longer recognized. "Don't talk," he hissed, his voice sharp with rage. "If you ruin this for me, you'll regret it." Elena's heart shattered. She had married this man, trusted him, loved him. And now, here he was, threatening not only her but also the men who had shown her kindness by giving her work when no one else would. She faced an impossible choice: stay silent and let her husband ruin a man's life, or risk everything, her marriage, her safety, her dignity, to stop him. The minutes that followed tested her spirit. Daniel pulled out a small weapon he had hidden, muttering about waiting for Raymond to return. That's when Elena realized this was not just about stealing secrets, he planned something worse. He wanted to harm her boss, maybe even kill him. Her legs trembled, but her resolve grew stronger. She couldn't allow this. Quietly, she slipped out of the room, her breath heavy with fear. She dialed Raymond's personal security line with shaking hands and reported everything. Within minutes, guards rushed in, and Daniel's plan crumbled. He screamed betrayal, but Elena stood tall, her tears streaming down her face as he was dragged away. Raymond, arriving shortly after, was shocked beyond words. He had always lived in suspicion, never trusting anyone fully. Yet here was a woman who risked her own safety to protect him. She had saved his life, his empire, and his future. But for Elena, it was not victory. It was heartbreak. She had lost the man she married. That night she cried herself to sleep, torn between grief and relief. Raymond, however, could not forget. For days, he thought about her courage. He saw how she came to work the next morning, her eyes swollen from tears, but her hands steady as she dusted and cleaned as if nothing had happened. She asked for nothing, demanded nothing. Her silence spoke louder than words. Slowly, he realized something profound. True loyalty doesn't come from contracts, money, or bloodlines. It comes from the heart. Elena embodied that truth. Over time, Raymond began to treat her differently. He supported her mother's treatment, gave Elena stability, and most importantly, restored her faith that goodness is still valued in this world. He never pitied her, he respected her. Elena too found healing in knowing she chose integrity over fear. She understood that love built on greed cannot last. Though her marriage ended, she saved not just her boss but also herself from a lifetime of darkness. The challenges they faced were immense: betrayal, loneliness, greed, and the pain of broken trust. But through it all, they discovered strength in honesty and courage. Years later, when people looked at Raymond Carter, they saw a powerful man. But he would often say, "The real power I ever had was the day my maid chose truth over silence." This story leaves us with a powerful message: sometimes life puts you in situations where silence feels safer, but courage speaks louder. Choosing the right path may cost you in the short term, but it saves your soul in the long run. Call to action for your channel. Friends, if this story touched your heart, I want to hear from you. What would you have done if you were in Elena's place? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I love reading your perspectives. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss more inspiring stories here on Be Kind Always. Together, let's spread kindness and courage, one story at a time.